You spend hours staring at a blinking cursor. You're racing a machine that literally never sleeps. Headlines are practically screaming that AI is replacing your career. The fear of becoming completely obsolete in this market is paralyzing. As automation aggressively accelerates, you have to wonder if your skills even hold value anymore. Let's dive into this explainer and uncover the absolute truth about your professional trajectory. Because right now, the answer to learning code just isn't obvious anymore. Even senior scientists at major tech companies let AI write their commits. So you have to ask yourself, is it actually too late for you? The market simply no longer rewards manual syntax. You're watching a massive seismic shift in knowledge work. You might naturally ask why you should ever learn what a machine does instantly. That is a completely fair and valid reaction. You are definitely not alone in this deep sense of unease. But before we discuss how to secure high-leverage leadership roles in this new economy, we have to confront reality. We need to validate your fears by analyzing the hard numbers. The reality of the job market looks incredibly bleak right now. Computer programmer roles dropped by 27% in just 2 years. 1. The Bureau of Labor Statistics projects another 6% decline through 2034. 2. Those specific manual jobs are straight up not coming back. This perfectly compounds the ongoing tech layoffs and post-pandemic hiring corrections. It creates a hyper-competitive environment for all the remaining talent out there. As of mid-2025, tech postings sit 36% below the pre-pandemic baseline. 3. It really feels like the door is just slamming shut on you. The landscape is changing at a truly breathtaking pace. According to the 2025 Stack Overflow Developer Survey, 84% of developers are actively using AI for. Brand new data from the Pragmatic Summit puts that adoption at a staggering 93%. 5. These tools save developers an average of 4 hours every single week. AI-authored code jumped from 22% to 27% in just a single quarter. 6. That is a massive structural shift in a highly complex industry. AI can now seamlessly create entire applications from an initial spec straight to final deployment. But the data actually tells a much more complicated story. While basic programmer roles are dying out, software developer roles remain incredibly stable. Here is the massive, undeniable reframe you need to hear. The Bureau of Labor Statistics projects a 15% growth for software developers through 2034. 7. That is 5 times faster than the average for literally all other occupations. Mentions of AI skills in job postings actually rose 16% recently. 8. We are witnessing a market shift, not a market death. There's a critical distinction you absolutely must understand. The traditional programmer role was always about translating specs into manual syntax. They took rigid requirements and converted them into working code. That is exactly the part AI executes flawlessly today. But developer and engineer roles involve complex design decisions, reliability, and deep trade-off analysis. They require high-level cross-functional communication and rapid incident response to keep businesses running. The work that's disappearing was honestly always destined for automation. The work staying requires completely irreplaceable human judgment. Think about software work in 3 distinct phases. You have before code, during code, and after code. The before phase involves gathering incredibly complex constraints like latency, cost, and user privacy. The after phase demands rigorous deployment, continuous monitoring, and strict compliance checks. AI heavily compressed that middle phase where you simply write functions, but it didn't magically delete the vital before and after phases. It actually made them exponentially more critical than ever before. You must have a crystal clear vision for the machine to actually succeed. Here is where the real tension actively lies right now. Despite massive adoption, 46% of developers actively distrust AI-generated code. 9. That is up from 31% just the year before. Only 3% say they highly trust the output they're getting. 10. 2/3 of developers admit AI gives answers that are almost right, but not quite. It creates code that looks entirely correct, but simply isn't. This makes debugging much more time-consuming if you lack deep system knowledge. AI gets you 80% there in record time, for sure. But that last 20% remains where the actual hard work has always been. This reveals the ultimate inescapable reality of production software. When something breaks in production, someone has to answer for it. When a massive security breach costs millions, a human is held accountable. AI doesn't get paged at 3 a.m. to fix a critical bug. You do. AI doesn't face the critical incident review board on Monday morning. AI doesn't explain exposed customer data to senior leadership. You do. If you don't deeply understand the systems to evaluate that final output, you're shipping code you simply cannot vouch for. If you want to lead in this new era, you must adapt rapidly. You must completely commit to becoming the pilot of the machine. To dominate your career in 2026, you need to master three core principles. You need a systems mindset, you need strategic verification, and you need to master the human layer. The tools will constantly evolve, but the demand for true system masters is absolutely exploding. We're going to break down exactly how you build these three pillars to secure your future. First, you need to prioritize the systems mindset. This means shifting your focus from writing syntax to understanding how complex architectures interact and fail. You must absolutely master fundamentals like data structures, APIs, and databases to debug production incidents effectively. True high-leverage expertise comes from knowing exactly what correct looks like before the AI generates a single line of code. You simply cannot outsource your underlying comprehension to the machine. Second, you have to completely embrace strategic verification. This involves using AI to move aggressively faster without ever sacrificing the correctness of your production systems. You must learn to structure your prompts with incredibly strict architectural constraints and a clear definition of done. You need to treat code review, automated test generation, and deep auditing as your primary, top-tier technical skills. Third, you must completely master the human layer. This is the daily practice of exercising professional-level judgment regarding security, compliance, and cross-functional business communication. You are now entirely responsible for explaining complex technical trade-offs like performance versus cost to non-technical stakeholders. Your ultimate high-value goal is to own a product entirely end-to-end, steering it from raw requirements directly into stable production. The core philosophy behind all of this is absolutely paramount. As Dave Farley notes, tools amplify capability, but they definitely don't replace it. 11. Data from the Pragmatics Summit echoes this perfectly. 12. AI simply amplifies your existing operational habits and systems. Strong teams are getting stronger much faster, while dysfunctional teams just use AI to dig deeper holes. The defining difference in the final outcome is entirely based on the actual humans wielding these incredibly powerful tools. History provides some incredibly crucial perspective here. You've probably heard some version of coding being totally dead recently, but as Francois Chollet pointed out, software engineering has been within 6 months of dying since early 2023-13. This historical pattern is much older than AI. Fortran and COBOL were both heavily pitched as tools to make software engineers completely obsolete. Every major abstraction promises to replace humans, yet the demand for those who deeply understand complex systems only grows exponentially. The crucial takeaway from this explainer is that you are not too late. You can easily build simple demos without understanding code, but shipping reliable production systems requires foundational mastery. Otherwise, you're just stuck in a dangerous illusion of competence. Start building your foundational systems knowledge today, right now. You are the architect of the future, and your deep understanding is the only code that truly matters. Will you let the machine write your legacy, or will you command it to build your empire?